Hello, I'm Christine Schiavone, and our show is Spiritual Exploration. Tonight, we're going to talk about a topic that I'm very excited about because I have been brought up knowing our Blessed Mother, and I love her very much. And when I was given the opportunity to have a guest who has a lot of information about her, I was very happy to go with that opportunity, and here we are tonight. And I would like to introduce you to Geraldine O'Donnell, who says that she gets messages from the Blessed Mother, and we're going to talk about that. Hello, Geraldine.
Hi, Christine. Thanks for having me tonight.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you for being here tonight. I've really been, ever since we discussed you coming on to the show to talk about the Blessed Mother, I have been very excited about it. I have.
I have been too, and this is a great opportunity for me to highlight some of the ideas and the knowingness that I have about my experience and my perceptions, and how I came across these experiences and messages from the Blessed Mother. And it's only been basically the past 2 years that I've really had these strong impressions and yeah, overwhelming insights.
Because I was going to ask you if you know all this stuff started when you were a child or what, but you're saying it's just the last 2 years.
Basically, when I went on I had a lot of spiritual inspiration, and on a spiritual journey, I opened myself up to that way of life. Not so much the Christianity with our Blessed Mother, more the spiritual aspect that, you know, many people see and know about her, but in a completely different light. And more or less, I was drawn to the statues and to the images, and some people call them apparitions.
Or apparitions?
Apparitions, apparitions that they feel or know that they're seeing her, whether it's in a dream, a smoky image on a wall. So, you know, there's many ways she'll show herself to people, whether it's through, you know, the messages or just a sighting of her. There's many people that claim they've had sightings and experiences.
I believe it. I know she has appeared to quite a few people. She appeared to Saint Bernadette. She appeared to the children in Fatima.
Yes.
And supposedly she had messages for the children in Fatima that have to do with the world and the condition of the world. And do you have any idea of those?
Like I said, this happened around 2 years ago. I think you know the Alba House on Staten Island?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
And you know how we used to do the Station of the Cross?
Yes, yes.
Well, I have my own take on that, where I would do the Stations of Mary, and I was drawn to go to the Alba House and just to stand and acknowledge and experience the statues and the essence of the statues, and to just stand there and pray and meditate, basically. And I just realized that while I was there, I was getting impressions and messages from these statues. So it wasn't the statue giving me the message. It was definitely
the person, Mary. Yes. Well, let's make this perfectly clear, because a lot of people accuse Catholics of praying to statues.
No.
We don't pray to statues. We pray to who the statue represents.
Okay.
The statue is just to be able to focus on the saint or Jesus or the Blessed Mother that we're praying to, so that we can stay focused on what we're doing.
Right.
But the statue, and we know that the statues are not able to hear us or answer our prayers, but it's the person that they represent.
Right. Well, the statues are used as a, for lack of like a conduit, like where you would place your energy. You know, everything holds energy.
Yes.
So you would put your eye or your emphasis on that subject and focus on it, because it's a form of meditating. Prayer and meditation are very interlinked.
Yes.
So while you're praying, you're meditating, and it's not the actual statue, but the image and the energy that the statue holds and the essence. Just as I said, 2 years ago, I would go to statues and I'd be so drawn to them, and I would be, what am I doing? Then I would stand in front of them, and then a wave of knowingness or just little bits of information, or I'd look up and the statue, one statue, she'd be perched or stepping on top of a snake. Sometimes I would get a sentence, sometimes I would get just a deep knowingness about what was going on in the world or for a particular person. Specifically at one point it was for one of my teachers, and I would, I would poo-poo it at first, but then I said, no, there's something to this, because it was very distinct and it was very purposeful. And when I brought the message to the person, they'd be, validate it, and it would be, that was a validation, because they would know what I was talking about.
So there's a beautiful picture of her with the infant Jesus.
Yes.
When you get these messages, in other words, that she might come to you and tell you something to tell somebody else about their life,
exactly.
or something, some kind of information she wants
exactly.
them to have?
Yes, it would be, it's not specific to me. It could be anything that's going on in the world. It could be to someone that I know, that message would be more meant for them, or it would be, very in general about, the state of what's going on in the world. Like, is she crying, or is she hopeful? Is her head bowed? Is her hand? So the picture that was just up is like a very young Blessed Mother.
Mm-hmm. Yes, well, she was very young when she gave birth to Jesus.
But there's very different depictions of her. Some are very old and very stately. Some are very young. That particular one
is another.
Yes, that's one where she looks very sorrowful, and you can get a deep impression of what's going on with her at that time. And before I came here, I did some meditation as well to bring these pictures to the show, because she's more or less in my essence, not necessarily do I have all these pictures of her. She's just something that I carry inside of me that anyone can carry inside of themselves. Mm-hmm. That feeling, what she was about. And basically she was about humanity and mankind, one person being good to another person, about, truly being good to yourself, being good to your neighbor. It's not just rhetoric, it's not just, oh, that's what they used to say. A strong part of what, even with this book that I had brought with me, not to trump anybody or not to say that that's what I'm promoting, but around the time I became attuned to the statues, more or less, or attuned to her essence, this book just got put into my hands, and it was like by no coincidence, because there are no coincidences.
Mary's Message to the World by Annie Kirkwood. Let's hold it up to one of the cameras here. I got it right here on this camera one, if they want to take it. Anyway, though, so now you've read this book, I imagine.
Not all of it.
Not all of it.
Little snippets and pieces, and there was a lot of, the emphasis is about mankind, doing what's good for humanity, being purposeful. And in these times where people have all different issues and problems, to bring yourself back to wholeness, wellness, it's promoting the original messages that were put out there thousands of years ago that maybe got lost in translation. It's very oversimplified. It has nothing to do with any distinct religion or anything. It's basically about loving mankind.
So that's what this book, Mary's Message to the World, is about.
Basically about how we're still here to help each other, care for each other, compassion. Some things get through difficult times. People, in this society, people get very stressed, and sometimes we lose sight of what we were brought here for and how to treat each other, and, simple...
That's for sure.
Simple, basic things that got lost through the years in this fast-paced society, where these basic key things about how to treat each other, how not to trample each other, how to be kind, very simple, oversimplified ways of being.
Yeah.
This book came out, and just people are starting to honor very simple, basic rules. This way, we don't take each other down and we don't take each other out. We're here to help and assist each other in this journey, not to step on each other's toes, if you will.
I imagine then that what the terrorists and people like that are doing must sadden her very much.
A lot. There are excerpts to that. I don't have the page, and it is that. It is her disappointment at times. Sometimes the messages are her disappointment. That's why you see her with her head bowed, her crying. She's crying over what happened. You know, these are some of the messages that I've received, that she was, you know, waiting for things to change, hopeful, wanting people to be less selfish and more giving, less taking. So, you know, very, very basic things that that we can do in our everyday life that would only take a few minutes.
And these are the messages that you get from her.
Very simple messages about helping humanity and being purposeful in your journey, and not taking things for granted, not taking people for granted, not for pushing people out of the way, really putting it into action, you know.
Well, I remember being in church years ago where there was a particular priest who was a very eloquent speaker, and he was giving a sermon, and in his sermon he said that God isn't so much really worried about us sinning as he is. His biggest concern is how we treat each other.
Yes.
Is that we should do good to each other and for each other.
Yes.
And that is God's main thing about putting us here, to prove that we can be kind to each other.
Yes.
Be kind to every living being, including
Yes.
animals, and that's what God wants us to do.
Yes.
And I guess that's also the message that Mary tries to bring through.
Trying to bring back a sense of compassion and hopefulness, a willingness to share your space, your food, your time, your energy without looking for something in return.
Right.
Doing things for the sake of doing them, and not always looking for financial gain, and not always looking for what you're going to get. And, you know, a lot of, like I said, it's very simple, and a lot of people if they get a message, even themselves, their messages are not just for me, they're for everyone.
Right.
For everyone.
Well, when she, though, gives you a message that you feel is for a particular person that you know, what kind of messages does she give personally? It's
in a form of guidance, and what they need to do to proceed in their path, what they're going through, if they need strength, if they need to calm themselves down, if they need to put more faith into action, just things like that. I brought messages to people about Mary was crying because she was upset about the state of affairs that were going on in the world. And then I've had other messages where she was hopeful and things were turning around slowly. So it's different for each experience, and it's also different for each person. It's, you know, it changes. It's not the same.
Well, I know that when she appeared to the children of Fatima, the three children, she gave them some kind of messages that they did not, still to this day, have not repeated.
Well, I can say what I had recently, most recently, came in a dream. I had a very almost surreal dream which came through. I was presenting my mother with roses, who has passed on, and whenever you have roses, whenever you see an indication of a rose, that's why I brought the roses, it signifies that Mary is present. And I didn't realize that till this year. So in this dream that I had literally 2-3 months ago, I woke up like feeling so refreshed, so energized, and a sense of relief. And in the dream, I was presenting my mother with roses because it was around the time of her birthday. The next day, I went to that local deli where I get my little coffee and my bagel, and I bought one single rose. And I brought that rose to my desk and held it, each day because it represented something very powerful to me. And I didn't even know yet what this rose represented and how she presented. And then I think it was the 7th day, I went to the Alba House and I went to all the different statues and did what I normally did. And then I got to the last statue, which is the largest statue. I think I even have a picture of one of the statues. She's like about 8 feet tall. And as I get to the last statue was one single red rose.
Wow.
And I just stood there, my jaw dropped, and I was, I got the chills. I was like, wow, if that's not a validation, and I didn't understand, like I didn't connect the dots till the end, and then I was in my girlfriend's car. She goes, because she saw my excitement. We were at the Greek fair, and I bought this beautiful pendant, which I didn't bring. But she was teaching me. She said, Mary comes through roses. Anytime you see a rose, it's a representation of her. And now it just all fit together because I wasn't sure, why am I presenting roses? What is this all about? And then it all came together. I stood at that, and the rose was fresh. It wasn't a wilted, it was fresh, and it was just laying right across her arm. So I take these as very deep and profound messages.
Sure, there's always signs, yeah.
Yes, but a lot of people aren't aware that she comes as these beads are. These are beautiful rosary beads that we use to also, too, pray and meditate. And all of these things can be done. It doesn't have to be pressurized or structured. Just the gesture that you're holding the rose, that you're having the intention, is going to make that connection to the Blessed Mother, because she knows your intentions.
No, sure, cool. I'm sure she does.
And these are roses.
You feel, yes, I know, you told me that. I've never seen or smelled a pair of...
Smelled a pair of roses.
Rosary beads, yes.
Smell the roses.
Right.
Wink, wink.
Right, yes, I get it.
So when they say take time and smell the roses, enjoy your life. Smell the roses.
Be happy in your life.
Yeah.
Do everything with joy.
Joy, peace, love, happiness. Here is a depiction of Mary in her more pristine. I'm an art history major as well, so I did art history. So this is her depicted as someone very regal, very royal, I think this is the Polish depiction of Mary. She shades darker, and the baby is really not a baby. The baby is depicted as a
small adult.
Exactly. Not how we see a baby.
Right.
And again, very royal. This is all glittered, all in gold, heavily draped in jewelry, and very, very not human-like, almost like a picture of a statue. But again, it's also another essence of her. There's hundreds of different variations of her, and no matter where you go and how you pray to her and how you perceive her, there's no wrong to that. I mean, we all have our own versions of what the Blessed Mother is and what she's about, and it's not strung to just a Catholic belief or a Protestant belief.
Oh yeah, actually, I know that you're a Reiki master. I'm a Reiki master also. But in addition to being a Reiki master, I have taken magnified healing, which is another form of healing. Now, Reiki is a male energy. Magnified healing is a female energy, and the deity that is in charge of magnified healing on the other side, or in the other dimension, I guess you might say, is a Chinese deity called Kuan Yin.
Kuan Yin, that's right.
And Kuan Yin is also has been said to be the essence of the Blessed Mother Mary.
I think I've heard similar words about that, and I think all roads lead to Mother Earth. It all has that motherly energy. It's supposed to encompass all knowing, all loving, all being. So your version, my version, Buddha's version, like all roads lead to God, maybe?
Oh yeah, it all boils down to the same thing.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. So there is no, your idea is different or better than mine.
Right.
All roads are still leading to that one path.
Absolutely, yes.
So just to spark an interest and open that door up for somebody else to say, don't walk by that statue. Stop. Say a prayer. Have a wish. Even wish on something is a form of praying. So,
That's true. To make a wish is anything where you have a desire.
That's right.
Is a form of praying, because when you make that desire known,
right,
then you are praying.
That's right.
You're you're asking for something.
And that's in this book. They're encouraging that. They're the encouragement of praying. If you spend 15 minutes, I think that's somewhere in that book, if you're spending 15 minutes a day, actually it is. I know I was to bring the book for a reason, and I had to start with 15 minutes a day, center yourself for the day, get your mind right, get yourself in alignment with God, and the day
goes very well.
Actually, it does.
Yeah. It does, usually does.
Right, and start your day over. If you're having a bad day, start your lunch break over, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, and build on that. You can slowly build on that and come to a point in your life where that becomes normal. This beautiful picture here.
She's crying.
Yes, that is absolutely captivating. It's one of my most favorite, and I did take these shots to bring to this show. That is her crying. She's very tearful, but also her eyes are very healing. And the more you look at that picture, the more you get drawn into it. It's almost consuming. And I've gotten that off the internet. So I really enjoyed taking these pictures. It was amazing.
So as you went on the internet and you Googled the Blessed Mother or something like that?
I Googled Ave Maria. I uploaded Ave Maria. I was listening to the music, and the shots were there. And then I took shots of the shots, and I knew something amazing was going to happen. And I got about 7 pictures. One was better than the other because they're very powerful. The more you look at them and the more you get drawn into it, the more you start to get a feeling of well-being. It just feeds on itself. It's something you have to experience yourself as you open yourself up to that idea.
Yeah, well, you have to be open to things for them to manifest.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if you're not open, you can pray to be open.
That's true.
You can pray, for the willingness for a better understanding of what is this? Why am I yearning to get closer to God, or to trust in these intuitions? Like I said, these messages are for everyone. We all get them, not just me.
You just have to be open to it.
Exactly.
And you'll hear from anybody you want to, actually.
Exactly. And you can trust. If you have a quiet inner voice, that's your quiet inner voice, and whatever it's guiding you to and telling you helps you on your path, your spiritual journey. And they're for you. And some of them are for you, and some of them are not for you. So, but you get better at knowing and deciphering how and what information is for who. Mm-hmm. At first, you're not sure what's, once that channel is open, you're not sure, what is this? What am I experiencing?
Do you think that the Blessed Mother is trying to be, how could I put it, active in world affairs, trying to make a difference on her own, trying to make things better, trying to be just a big part of what's happening, and trying to turn things around so that maybe the world will see some peace?
Absolutely. I think that she wants her voice to be heard again. I think how she was perceived a long time ago is not exactly what is happening in the world today. If people could treat each other a little bit better, and people could back off the pedal with their reactions to things and do things that are kinder, gentler, more in line with God and more in line with a compassionate attitude, the world would be a little softer, a little easier.
Oh, sure.
The papers would be a little more empty, you know.
Yeah,
and,
that's right.
Yeah, and
would be a lot going on.
Right, the cops would be a little tired, you know, they would have some kickback time. But these ideas have to be reintroduced to people about almost as refocusing yourself to an easier, softer, gentler way. There has to be a better way.
And you feel that that is the message that she has for us?
Big time. I think she would want people to be more considerate of each other, consider themselves, but also you have to start considering humanity, mankind, your neighbors,
Sure.
the person down the block.
Absolutely.
Not as a zero, that they actually matter, even when you get in your car. And an example, when you get in your car and you're driving, you don't, the luxury of, you know, defensive driving and, you know, getting nasty with people on the road.
And that's the opportunity that we have every single day.
Every day.
To be kind to others is on the road. Is when we see a person that needs to get into the line, that's trying to get off the block.
Simple things.
Simple things. To just say, go ahead, come on, I'll let you go, whatever. And those things count.
They do.
They count with the Blessed Mother, they count with God.
They do.
You know, that she and he are seeing us being kind to each other, giving
That's
each
right.
other a break. And that's the biggest opportunity that we have.
Right.
During the course of our day, especially if you're driving, you're getting from one place to the other, is to be kind to each other.
That's right.
And to allow each other a little break so that they can get to where others can get to where they're trying to get to. We all have a destination.
Right.
And sometimes depending on how much of in a hurry I am, if I'm not in a big hurry, I'll let everybody, you know. I even had a cabbie yelling at me for letting somebody go one day because he was in a hurry behind me. And he pulled up alongside of me at the red light yelling at me that we didn't make the green light because I let one or two people go. I says, look, I'm trying to be nice to people. If you can't be nice to people, I feel sorry for you. And then he continued yelling at me, so I just pushed the button on my window, and the window just went up. You know, what was I going to do with this person? He's yelling at me for being kind. I said, no, I don't buy that.
Healing, kindness, generosity, helping, anything we can do to just start that in action, a plan in action, anything.
Yeah.
Anything,
Yeah.
any plan in action, and turn yourself around. There's many ways to go out there and function.
Yeah, there is.
Right. Many ways.
You know, and when we are kind to somebody and we do kind deeds, we are really planting seeds for ourselves.
Here's a quick shot of Guadalupe.
Our Lady of Guadalupe.
Our Lady of Guadalupe. And I think this is the way the Spanish people depict their Blessed Mother.
Yeah,
if
a
I
lot
remember.
of them do, yes,
Yes,
I'm sure, yes,
Guadalupe.
I believe so.
In the center of that photo is a little orb.
Look at that, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you could miss it thinking it was a light or something, but it is. It's an orb.
It's an orb.
It's like there's a spirit there looking at the picture.
Yes, there is.
Wow.
That's Guadalupe. I
Wow,
love her.
That's amazing.
And you'll see Guadalupe all over Staten Island.
Yeah.
You will.
Yeah.
Right, and all the little streets down by Bay Street and the little shops.
Mm-hmm.
And there too, these sightings, believe it or not, these Mary on the half shells, they are powerful. Don't underestimate them. Just don't underestimate them. My daughter brought me back a beautiful gift from France. This awesome little piece of art, jewelry, and the beads are on her too. This rests in my kitchen, and when I'm doing my dishes, I pray to Mary. I pray to Mary everywhere I go.
Why not?
It's one of my new